Let's bring on our guest, Evan Arena. He is an astrophysicist, and any chance we can get an astrophysicist to be on the program, I'm in awe. Hello, Evan.
He looks like an astrophysicist.
You're
nice tweed jacket.
You look awesome, man. Like you are fantastic. I'm in awe of what you do and your brain. So thank you for explaining it to sports people, because we need that, Evan. So tell us why you would want to go. Like, give us your plans for today and the momentous happening. Last time was 2017.
Yeah. So I will not be in the path of totality for the eclipse. I'm in Philadelphia, so I'll be. All of the faculty members here went to the path of totality to seal the real thing, but I'm here. I'll be helping some Philadelphians see the 90% that we are going to see here.
Is it, like, give us the difference? Like, is it worth it? The path, like, is totality, is it worth the journey? Should we have this on a bucket list for the next eclipse, which will be in 20 years?
I would say so. It's definitely on mine. It's a very different experience, even with the 10% difference. Because when you're in the path of totality and you have the maximum coverage, it really is almost nighttime for a few minutes there. And nocturnal animals start to wake up thinking that it's night. And the most interesting thing is that you can look at the corona of the sun, which is its atmosphere, and that's really the only chance that you get to see that.
Wow, that's wild. How do you, for those of us stuck in Philadelphia, what time exactly do you think we should be on notice, and how should we take this in? We have our glasses, and tell us how we should take this in.
Yeah, so I'm glad you have the glasses there, and I heard you talking about them. You're absolutely right. The way that you can tell that they're real eclipse glasses is that when you put them on inside, you should not be able to see anything, except if you're right next to a light bulb, you should be able to see the filament of it. But other than that, you don't want to be wearing sunglasses. Sunglasses will filter out about 60 to 90% of the light, but those eclipse glasses filter out something like 99.999%. So that's the only safe way to directly look at the eclipse. And that's going to be happening. It starts at 2:08 p.m. in Philadelphia. That'll go until 4:35 p.m. The maximum coverage is, I think, at 3:23 p.m. in Philadelphia. So if you don't have eclipse glasses, see if a friend does. But there's some indirect ways that you can look at the eclipse. If you make a pinhole camera, for example, or even if you have a pasta strainer, you can put your back to the sun, hold the pasta strainer up, and the shadow it casts, you should be able to see an image of the eclipse in the little holes in the strainer.
That's why we have an astrophysicist on the program. All right? That's genius, man.
He's got a lot of friends who have pasta strainers.
Listen, my whole crew's got pasta strainers. I have 6 of them.
Me too.
Well, you do too, Mr. Arena. Yes, you do. What should we be careful in any way driving? Like, what the whole deal is? Like,
Yeah, earthquakes, more earthquakes coming.
I was going to ask you about that too Friday, because people were mocking me about my reaction to the earthquake. So, Evan, when the earthquake hits on Friday, we were doing the show. We're in a very old building in Old City, right? Like a completely old building on North 10th Street, and I see some of the dust from the bricks, right? And I'm going, this building could crumble, and we're on the top floor, so the ride down will be pretty solid. So that was the first thing in my mind. I'm going, how do I get Julia and Andrew and everybody else out of here to get them safe, since I'm like somehow the boss here, and I'm trying to figure out, that was going through my mind. And then my wife and the kids, making sure they're safe. So that was Friday. earthquake and then an eclipse. I mean, make sense of it, please.
Yeah, the earthquake is not something that you're usually thinking about trying to prepare for. But maybe now you've figured out some contingency plan for the next one, which who knows when that will be. You can predict when the eclipses are going to be. So yeah, I would maybe, if you can avoid it, stay off the road today while the eclipse is going on, because there's going to be plenty of people driving around looking through their windshield and
burning their retinas while they drive.
Accidents. Yeah, looking at it with no solar glasses.
That's wild.
Off the road today.
Hey, last thing, Ev, I'm curious. Give us like your daily, like, what do you do as an astrophysicist? I know beyond teaching and your studies, like, give us some projects that you're like maybe working on, and a little bit kind of peek into a window of your life. I'm like fascinated by it.
Yeah, so I'm currently working on my PhD thesis, which I have to hand in about a month. So I'm really getting close to the end of that. So my day-to-day
What's it on,
really
by the way?
consists of, so I do cosmology. So astrophysics is sort of the study of individual astronomical objects like stars, black holes, galaxies. Cosmology is more concerned with things like the Big Bang and the space that all of the astronomical objects are embedded in. My day-to-day consists of emails. Sometimes it's pen and paper math. A lot of it is actually computer coding and things like that. So that's what I spend most of my day doing, is sitting in this chair, trying to get code to work and trying to make sense of some math.
And you try to make sense of time and folding time.
Yeah.
I'm completely fascinated by it. Like, I would love to sit down with you, just kind of pick your brain, because
that'd be great.
Like that piece of it is fascinating. Like when you think about drawing a straight line into time and connecting it, like how I there's a million questions. I'm afraid to ask one because I'll sound ridiculously stupid.
No, there's no stupid questions
But
here.
in relation to time, which and where are you? How do you draw that parallel line into time, both past and present and future, when it comes to these past galaxies and folding space?
Yeah, it's a great question. So the fact that every type of observation that you do in astrophysics or cosmology, you're usually looking at light. But light only travels at a finite speed. So by the time the light reaches you, the light is millions or billions of years old. So when you look at a galaxy, you're looking at it, what it looked like hundreds of millions of years ago. And so the further back you look, the further back in time you're looking. So I do a type of cosmology that's looking at stuff in the relatively late universe, like galaxies. And then there are cosmologists who look at the very early universe.
Wow.
And it's an open question in cosmology how to connect exactly those two points in time. It's a very active area of research. There's some things that don't quite agree with each other.
That's fascinating, man. You're amazing. Evan, thank you so much.
Yeah.
By the way,
Thanks so much for having me.
are you a sports guy?
I'm very much into baseball, but you're not going to like who I...
Uh-oh.
Who do you like? Who are you, Yankee fan?
I'm a Yankee fan. I'm from New York originally. I guess it's pretty obvious.
Better than the Mets,
But
I guess.
the Phillies have really grown on me. I'm always rooting for a Yankees-Phillies World Series.
That's awesome.
So I'm hoping every year.
That's so cool. Oh, that's great, man. Listen, you're a treasure. God bless you, man. I want to talk to you again. So thank you,
please.
Evan, for giving us some time during this momentous time.